Most players stay stuck in low elo for months, making the same mistakes without realizing it. Today, I'm breaking down the 9 most common mistakes keeping you from ranking up in CS2, so you can instantly start playing smarter. If you don't know who I am, I'm Louis, a 3000 elo player on Faceit, and we're covering everything from half clearing corners, wasting utility, missing radar and audio cues, failing to trade, and getting stuck in predictable setups. Timestamps are in the description if you want to skip to the parts holding you back. If you're ready to break out a low elo and see real progress, let's get into it. Now, the most lazy thing that I see a lot of players do is not properly clearing angles. And I'm not talking about crosshair placement and where they're putting it when they're clearing angles. I'm talking about lazily clearing an angle. Like, for example, if I'm coming up towards cat and I'm entering towards B, if I just half clear this angle, think it's clear, and then run away, or I almost do a double take where I clear the angle, look away, then have to flick back at someone playing in this position because I'm just being lazy. Now, this is one of the worst things that you can do, because if you're playing lazily, you're not playing to your maximum potential. So when you are clearing angles, you must want to convince yourself that someone is playing in that spot that you're clearing. So if I thought someone was get right, I would hard clear this and make sure that no one is actually there, because I've recently coached someone as well that would half clear a lot of angles, and he would do like these double takes to make sure that it was actually clear, and he's just wasting a lot of time when he's trying to entry or even try to take space for his team. So when you guys are clearing angles, make sure that you are efficiently clearing them and not doing any of those weird double takes that are going to ruin your aim. Now, something that happens a lot is a lot of lower elo players like to buy utility, but they don't know how to use it. So if you're on the T side of whatever map you're on, and in this example we're using Mirage, the way that you want to use your utility is to take map control. So at the start of the round, you can throw like a top mid smoke, or you can even smoke window, and you can pretty much just use all of your belt to take this control to eliminate threat. So if we were going out mid with this top mid smoke, I would molly off con to eliminate that threat. I would flash in valley to blind anyone that's either peeking window or peeking out through con, and this is what I would be using my utility for. Now, something else that happens, especially on the T side, is people may get out mid. Maybe they were one of the last people that ran out and they still have all this extra utility. Something that they do is they just hoard it and they don't know how to use it. Now, something to understand inside of Counter-Strike is that once you take the first initial map control, which for example on Mirage would be mid, there's always a second stage. And what that is first you need to have someone re-smoke window, or at least someone just watch it, and your goal is to take ladder room or connector. And in this example, I want to take connector, so I would just smoke top con. I would molly off this wall to make sure no one's sitting on the left, and I would be able to take connector for free. And this is how I would efficiently use my utility. Now, if I got past this stage still with utility in my belt, I would obviously want to use it for post plants as well. Now, if you're on the CT side, it's very important to eliminate threats early, like if you're the con player, to flash over mid to just slow them down, or if you're the A player to, molly ramp out of spawn. But what's really important is if you're an anchor, you want to save your utility to block when the map is either quiet, or if you just get your kill, like if someone comes out ramp, I just instantly kill someone, I can drop a smoke and just be a total rat in the site and delay enough for my teammates to come and just get the rest of the kills. Now, if you're someone that struggles with game sense, it's probably because you don't listen to audio. Dust 2 is a great example of that, because being on the CT side of Dust 2, the sound cues can tell you a lot of what's happening in the round. So if you're on CT side and you start towards long and you hear literally no flashes coming over early, that's going to tell you that the T's are obviously not rushing out long. It could either be a late pop, or you could totally just give it up and expect them to not even go long at all. Now, since that is one of the most common things on Dust 2, the other important audio cue that you guys should be listening for is anyone rushing towards lower. Now, anyone starting close B as a CT, or anyone over here on the right side of mid, can hear the T's running towards lower, which will give you a good opportunity to tell your team that, yo guys, the T's are probably going up cat or taking mid. And then this guy over here that is playing on B knows that if they're running lower, they're obviously not going to be rushing B, so he can come over and start to help support over here towards mid, which will give you guys a good opportunity on reading the round. The easiest way to predict a round in Counter-Strike is literally just by listening to what grenades go off, where a majority of the players are making noise, and especially if anyone starts spamming through a smoke. And if you guys pay attention to this, I guarantee you'll be able to stack every single site of where the T's are going to end up. Skins is running a Christmas event right now where you can get free gifts and get a completely free skin and up to a huge 50% deposit bonus or free balance on the website. The first gift is totally free. Literally all you have to do is just log in with Steam, and more gifts are unlocked the more you trade. They also have a Christmas advent calendar, so if you like some free gifts during this holiday season, definitely make sure to check out Skinsmonkey in the description below, and use my code LouisCS2 for a 35% deposit bonus and $5 for free when you trade on the site. Thank you for Skinsmonkey for sponsoring this video. Now, trading teammates can be very difficult, but there's a rule that I like to teach newer players when I coach them, and that is the one player rule. So if my team wanted to entry up cat, the worst thing that I could do is literally be shoulder to shoulder with my teammate running up, because anyone playing on ramp would have 2 free easy kills because he could just continue a spray, and while he's still spraying, I would would obviously just swing into it. So the best way to avoid something like this is to give the entry a little bit of space, because you also don't want to be body blocking him, because if he does decide to counter strafe or maybe do like a tap shoot and then start to spray, he's going to also run into you, which is pretty much just nerfing him on his own entry, and it's going to cause a lot of chaos and probably a little tilt. Now, overextending or over peaking will lose you guys so many rounds, and it's important to know what that is if you are a lower elo player. Now, over peaking and overextending is, let's say that there's no smokes outside, but maybe my mini teammate called that he heard 3 outside. Me overextending or over peaking is literally just swinging this dry and trying to duel all 3 opponents. This is what's going to lose you rounds, especially on, let's say, an eco round, where majority of the rounds lost in Faceit level 10 are literally due to deagle rounds, because everyone loves to just over peak and overextend. Now, the best way to eliminate this habit is to pretty much just know your own ego. Know that you can't fight 3 people at once, but also learn to isolate angles. Where if I was back garage and I knew that there was 3 people outside, the worst thing I could do is start searching from garage back here, because there's really no cover for me to play around, where if some players spotted me, you can see that I'm not close to any objects at all. I would want to choose an object like this one right by credit card, where I could just kind of jiggle out these angles and not really overexpose myself, because this won't lead to really over peaking, because I'm able to isolate all these angles and get away very quickly. Now, what's really important about over peaking and overextending is in post plants as well, where if we plant the bomb on T side right here on A, one of the worst things I could do is like run over here towards mini, just trying to hunt for kills, and this is really overextending. This is how you're going to lose every single post plant. When you're in a post plant, you want to make sure that you're playing with your team. You have a nice setup where maybe someone's hiding here and he's peeking off me because I'm holding heaven, or maybe I'm sitting here watching mini because we have someone up in heaven planted. You want to make sure that you're in a good spot where you're not able to overextend, and you can always tuck and cover if you do get in a fight and you do start to whip. Now, if you ever notice that a position is really hard to hold, it's probably because you're not using crossfires. Now, what a crossfire is where you're pretty much just facing your other teammate and you create a line with your bullets. So a good example is over here towards ramp, where if I tuck behind this box and have a player sitting right across from me, anyone coming out ramp would literally just run directly into our crossfire. And this is a very OP setup that a lot of good teams will run. Another good crossfire as well, if someone is sitting here back garage and then you also have a teammate in mini, anyone that's trying to scale into mini or in garage would literally just meet our bullets right here, and they wouldn't stand a chance, because even if they somehow kill me or my mini teammate, I would have a free instant trade. So if you guys ever do have trouble holding a certain position, or even if you're in a post plant, try to set up a crossfire with your teammate and you'll notice that you'll be winning a lot more rounds. Now, something that I see a lot in low elo is people playing different roles every single game. When I coach you guys, I get a lot of the same people and they're playing different roles, and that is going to really hurt your consistency. Let's say on Ancient, one game I decide to be an A anchor and I'm pretty much just sitting behind big box every round, just totally, just being AFK, trying to use my utility. And then the next game I decide I want to play mid and I'm just rushing down, really trying to use my aim, understand utility, dodge flashes. This is going to cause a lot of inconsistency, because not only am I not used to the position that I'm playing, but I'm also pretty much being 2 types of personality. I'm switching to someone who is just kind of passive, very chill, and then I'm switching to someone who's just on steroids, just holding W, trying to keep map control so the T's can't win a round. You can see that this dynamic isn't going to work at all, so it's better to stay consistent in the type of personality you have in game, because this will help you master not only the position, but also master the type of plays that you can make. So when you guys go into your next game, try to play the same spots, and I guarantee your stats will stay consistent. Now, learning solo executes is going to be your guys' bread and butter, especially if you're solo queue. And a good example is overpass, where if my team wanted to decide to end the round on A, I could literally throw a single execute just by my own nades that I can keep running out of spawn. So if my team wanted to end A, I could get in this bench, aim at the top of the sign, jump throw a smoke. While the jump up smoke's coming in, I can run over here and just molly truck. And this is going to give me a pretty simple A execute that I don't even have to rely on my teammates to use. Now, learning little gimmicks like this can help you, especially if you are just solo queuing, or maybe you're just really trying to rank up at a really low elo, because a lot of people won't really know what to do against an actual execute. And if you don't know where to learn those, you guys can go check out one of my friends, Nard, out here. He has a really good YouTube channel with strats, or my other friend CS Tactics as well. And they have a lot of little gimmicky strats that you can literally just run all by yourself, so then you guys don't have to rely on any of your teammates and the game falls into your hands. Now, something that can really hurt you a lot is if you're an entry fragger and you don't know the correct pathing. And Ancient is a great map to understand pathing, because there's very common executes that people like to do on Ancient, which is pretty much just a short smoke, and that's all that people love to throw. And this smoke actually gives you a lot of cover, but if you don't know know how to directly path into the site, it's going to really hurt you. Now, if there's just a short smoke, the best way to path up Ancient is to run directly at this wall to clear this cubby, and then swing towards long running at this pillar. Now, if you notice my entry pathing, I'm running towards objects to eliminate other angles, because if I decided to run up like this, you can see that I'm exposing myself to pillar, a cubby, long, and even someone that might be tucked here. Someone could also be in cave. But if I try to run towards objects, you can see that me running up here is eliminating anyone from long. I'm able to look in this direction, and then if I run towards the pillar, no one in cave or anyone playing around the pillar will be able to frag me, because even if they peek ramp, I'm going to be behind the pillar playing at a certain angle where they can't see me, and I'm using these objects to my advantage. So the next time you guys start entering out the sites, try to run directly to objects for cover, just to eliminate those angles that you can't clear.